Hello and welcome into another edition of State of the Sun Devils alongside Damon Allred and Jesse Morrison. I'm Jeremy Schnell. A 27-19 victory here by ASU, an upset victory. They beat number 16 Utah and moved to 5-1 on the season. Can ASU make the playoff, Jesse?
I don't know about that, but that was an unbelievable win by ASU coming in here against the number 16 team in the country. I think, usually I would have had an issue with storming the field after beating just the number 16 team in the country, but I felt like everyone in this stadium just let out like a sigh of relief and just excitement. And from, this fan base hasn't felt like this in probably 5 years or more. And it was just incredible to see everyone just so happy. It wasn't screaming at the refs. It wasn't, I just came down and felt just everyone was in such a good mood. And then they stormed the field, and it was just so cool to see. And just shout out to ASU for playing another heck of a game and sticking to their game plan. What has done them so well this season. Really just impressed by ASU. I don't know if they can make the college football playoff, but it's easier than it used to be.
They have already surpassed the over-under for their season total of wins, and Kenny had maybe the best joke of the entire presser was, if you bet the over on ASU, you should put your winnings into the collective.
That's fantastic. No, I thought this was a fantastic performance by ASU. I thought their defense was good. We talked about the time of possession and how important that was going to be in this ball game. Utah only had 5 more minutes of possession than ASU in this ball game, and it looked like they didn't try and do too much on offense, didn't try and get points back too quickly, although Skattebo helped with that a couple of times on his big runs. Let's talk about Cam Skattebo real quick and McCullough. Both of them had huge games. 2 picks for McCullough, 2 touchdowns for Skattebo. What did you see out of those two today, Damon?
Really, I think the thing that stands out to me is Cam Skattebo's breakaway speed that we heard so much about throughout the preseason and early in the season from Dillingham about, he's cut weight, he's so much faster. College Football 25 has his speed right, but how do they know that joke that Kenny made? But really, I went back and looked at all the touchdowns in Cam Skattebo's ASU career. The amount that were from inside the 5-yard line is staggering. The amount inside the red zone is staggering. He didn't have any that were this explosive, and now suddenly he's got 2. That breakaway speed is looking legit, and it's paying off for ASU.
Yeah, and Caleb McCullough, Jesse, do you want to touch on Skattebo before you touch on McCullough? Yeah.
So Cam Skattebo late in the game, Damon and I looked at it, 3.5 yards per carry. Okay, not great. And then he broke off an unbelievable run. Looked like he should have been down after, 7-8 yards, something like that. And then he scores a 50-yard touchdown. When the game is on the line and he needs to step up, he just has the clutch gene. It's so unbelievable how just like a switch flips for him. It's like he goes from being a solid running back to one of the best running backs in the country when he needs to at the end of games. It's really fun to watch. And then Caleb McCullough, just great for him because he's a guy that stuck around at this program. They talked about that in the press conference. Not even really a starter this year. He plays a lot, but not really even a starter. And he was everywhere tonight. He had a ton of tackles. I believe led the team in tackles. And then the 2 interceptions, including the game-sealing interception there at the end, which he almost dropped, but he was able to maintain it and give ASU the ball back. Yeah, just an incredible play. What a performance by those 2 in particular.
Yeah, obviously McCullough was going to play more tonight because of the first-half suspension of Keyshawn Elliott.
And we nearly got another targeting.
Yeah, almost with who was it? Smith almost got another targeting. Clayton Smith, he showed up and had 3 tackles in the second half. Keyshawn Elliott, he had 3 tackles as well. But the story of the game was Caleb McCullough on defense, 12 tackles, 6 total, a tackle and a half for loss. but it was really in pass coverage where you saw him shine tonight with those 2 picks.
Yeah, with the picks and just the ability, and I think this is a good way to transition into our next point, the ability to make Cam Rising pay for his rust. And whether it was just the time away from the field or whether he's still dealing with something in his fingers, just the ability of the ASU defense to make him suffer really throughout this game because of how they were playing in coverage. And really just an amazing job by Caleb McCullough, an amazing job by Miles Ghost Rouser for the most part, aside from his right hook at the start of the game, that I was like, dude, you've got to calm down. But like Kenny said in the presser, he'd rather have a dog with more bite than bark and tone down the bite than have to bring out the bite from someone who just barks.
The second to last possession for Utah, they had a wide open Dorian Singer in the flat, probably goes for a touchdown if Rising is 100%, in my opinion. And this is a whole different ball game. On that possession, Utah has to settle for a field goal, and then ASU goes down and scores that dagger touchdown with Cam Skattebo.
Yeah, I'll just touch on Rising here. When I saw the report from Brett McMurphy yesterday, I was like, oh, wow, ASU's in for it. They've talked about how when Rising is healthy, he's going to play. And so I was like, okay, he must be healthy. And then he came out and warmed up with a glove on, and I was like, how healthy is he really? And then we saw him play, and boy, did he just not look good. He did not look anywhere near one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He just duck after duck is how I would describe his throws. And he didn't move. I know he's still kind of coming off a knee injury. Did not move very well. I remember him being a guy that could move really well, and that was just not something that I saw in this game. And I think Utah not going to Isaac Wilson was a reason why they lost this game, was a big reason why they lost this game.
That's a great call.
Coach Whittingham, you would think that he would, make that decision in the second half and go to Isaac Wilson. I think he gives them a better chance to win this ball game. I think we're standing here talking about a 4-2 ASU team and a 5-1 Utah team if they go to Isaac Wilson.
Yeah, I think Isaac Wilson, we talked about it throughout the week, he's capable of good football. And frankly, Cam Rising just didn't have that much good football in him today. So I think that ASU's ability to capitalize on all of that and bring in the offensive efforts and defensive efforts all together, we talked a bit in the presser about it being a really complimentary effort today. ASU is in a really good spot to move forward with this season. You really hope that the Cincinnati game next week at 9 a.m. isn't a letdown moment in that early time slot, but really having already passed the over-under win total, having already, they're one game away from bowl eligibility with half the season still to go, I don't think anyone would have picked ASU to be 5-1 to start this season.
Yeah, let's go to that Cincinnati game real quick, Jesse. We saw Leavitt go out in the first half. ASU has 8 days to recover and get ready for that Cincinnati game. Very happy that Sam Leavitt was able to tough it out and go out there. Kenny Dillingham said on Arizona Sports just the other day that he is a dog.
He's got that dog in him.
But I'm worried about his long-term health going into the Cincinnati game in 8 days.
I just don't want him to keep running into contact. I like the runs where he gets outside and gets out of bounds. He's obviously not really a slider, and I think that we should just stop expecting him to do that. But these hits where he just goes right into defenders absolutely can't happen. I know they trust Jeff Sims, but I think that Jeff Sims and Sam Leavitt are just on a different level. Now, shout out Jeff Sims for coming in, scoring a rushing touchdown, had a pretty nice completion on the next drive. So got to give him his props in this game as well. But yeah, Sam's got to make sure that he stays healthy. But overall, though, he had a good game. I really like the way that he and Jordan Tyson have kind of gotten on the same page in the past 2 weeks. Jordan Tyson's the number one. He has proven that he's the number one, and I really like his ability to respond. He dropped pass early, scored a touchdown on that drive. That to me, and he did it last week. He had a horrible first half, and then he comes out and has 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. like that guy just knows how to flush away his mistakes, and definitely is their number one. And yeah, Sam, 11 for 18, 154, a pick, a touchdown, only took 1 sack. So again, shout out the offensive line for playing well.
The pick, not 100% his fault. He got hit. Probably needs to get the ball out a little earlier, but obviously the pick is a little sane on today's performance for Levitt.
Yeah, and really, we talk about the Tyson connection some more. Like, Hines Ward told us in the preseason he's excited to see what those two do together, just because he watched them put in the work over the summer of building this chemistry, and now it's starting to show on the field behind us. And, like, that's amazing to see in person and just at all for ASU to have this good of a connection between a quarterback and a wide receiver, I think.
Well, ASU plays in now 7 days as we've passed into midnight Arizona time. It is now Saturday, Jesse, and they play Cincinnati next week. We did go to the ASU hockey game today. They lost 4-1. That was a bummer. They play Michigan again tonight.
Yeah, tonight, because it is officially Saturday. Just a little bit. It was a fun game. Even though ASU lost, very chippy. Michigan's really good. I think that ASU's in for another tough one tomorrow, but I think that they had a little bit of fire ignited in them in that third period, and it should be an interesting one tomorrow at Mullet Arena. So go out and watch that one. It was a huge crowd again, huge crowd tonight. I need to shout out both of these crowds actually. It is going into fall break right now. It is fall break, and packed student section, really good crowd in the stadium as a whole. Hockey game crowd for a 3:30 on a Friday. Student section packed, pretty good crowd. Kenny Dillingham was there. Yeah, Kenny Dillingham showed up to another sporting event and then came in and won against Utah. How swaggy is that? That's really swaggy. I'd run through a brick wall for Kenny Dillingham.
All right, he said swaggy. That means we got to get out of here. It's past midnight and it's time to go to bed. That's going to do it for this post-game edition of State of the Sun Devils. Thank you so much for listening and watching. You can find us on all forms of social media at AZ Sports Devils, as well on the YouTube channel of Arizona Sports. We can find almost every single episode there as well. For Damon Allred and Jesse Morrison, I'm Jeremy Schnell. We'll talk to you soon.